Hey guys, welcome back to another week here with us
at The Handy Creators. Thank you so much for joining us on a very special video. We are here in our first client's home and we have been hired to install some stone veneer.
So yeah, that's why we're in a different background. No black fence here today, but we thought what more exciting than to share this journey with you guys and teach you something along the way.
We do want to preface the whole video by saying that in order to respect our client's privacy, we will be limiting the angles and the footage that we're getting, but we will be giving you a step-by-step detail as to how we're going to be installing this veneer and how you can do it too if you decide to go this route in any area of your home. Head on over and show you what it looks like now and exactly what it is that we're going to be doing throughout this video. Let's go.
The client reached out to us wanting to install stone veneer on their concrete wrapped post for their pergola. They built this pergola themselves and said that they always had the intention of installing the veneer but just couldn't come around to it, and we were super excited to go ahead and do this for them.
The cool thing about this AIRSTONE veneer is that they come in two different boxes. So we have the corner finished end stone, with what it means is that it comes with the corners as well as the connecting adjoining pieces. They also sell one that just consists of the straight pieces, and that will be mostly like if you're going to be installing this veneer inside or on a straight wall.
Step one will be make sure that the area you're gonna start working in is completely clean. That way, when you put the veneer, you don't trap any dirt under it, and it helps have an even finish and be leveled.
For those of you wondering, this is the color Birch Bluff. When you open the box, each corner has its corresponding adjacent. So meaning that when you install this in a corner, this little piece will connect on this one and make it look with that cornered edge. You want to install it row to row to row to row. They say that each box covers about 8 square feet and it has 6 of these trays. Something that you want to keep in mind is to always purchase 1 or 2 boxes extra depending on the size of your project, just because if you have to make any necessary cuts, you'll have enough. In our case, since basically our column is basically a rectangle, we've been having to do cuts on every single tile, which means that we have a little bit more waste. The client had to purchase an extra 2 boxes to ensure that we had enough, but just again, take that into account when you are purchasing the boxes that you need.
To install the veneer, we will be using construction adhesive since it's going in the exterior. The manufacturer recommends using a specific type of mortar that they sell if this is going to be applied over drywall, but since these posts are made out of concrete, we will be using the construction adhesive as per the manufacturer's instructions. You want to make sure to get even thick coverage throughout the entire piece, as this is the only thing that will be holding it to the wall. Since we had gloves on, we used our finger to spread the construction adhesive thoroughly throughout the piece that was going to be installed, but you can also use a squeegee or a putty knife. Once you have even coverage, you want to firmly press the piece onto the existing wall until you see the excess construction adhesive come up. That is how you know that you've added enough. You want to make sure to remove the excess to ensure a seamless connection and use it to fill in any necessary gaps. The first row will be the most time consuming, as it will serve as a guide for the rest of the installation. Take your time and ensure that each and every piece is nice and leveled. Since the floor where this was being installed had a small slope, we used pieces of cardboard to act as small shims in order to get a leveled first row. This facilitated the rest of the veneer installation. We left the cardboard shims throughout the entire installation to ensure that the adhesive have enough time to dry and nothing would move. The box includes these bigger pieces, which are twice as big as the normal pieces included. To install these, place the wider veneer next to 2 smaller ones to have a natural contrast. Something to take into account is that since this is supposed to look like natural stone, there will be small gaps in between each piece to make it look uneven. If you are looking for a more seamless finish, then consider installing stone and then grouting the connection.
Something else that you want to look out for when you're installing these corners is that, as you can see here, the connection pieces have 2 sides that are straight, and then for the rounded ones, this is going to be the piece that is going to connect. So before doing any cuts, you want to make sure to line them up and choose which side looks more natural. So like in this case, this one looks better, and then if we need to make any necessary cuts, we'll be cutting off this side and then cutting off this side. You don't want to make the cut on the wrong side, and then when you go ahead and add the corner, they don't match up. If you have such a small area like this one, you might have to make some cuts. So what we're going to do is grab the piece that connects to the corner, grab a pencil, mark it on the inside, and then we'll go ahead and come over to our angle grinder and make the necessary cut.
To cut this veneer, we used our angle grinder with a masonry blade. We cut just outside the line that we marked to ensure that the pieces were not smaller than we needed them to be. Cutting the one that is straight on both sides, you are going to get the one that you need
flip it and put it on the inside, and then mark the other side, which is the one that you're going to cut, and that one's going to be flush to the wall.
For the connecting piece with the rounded edge, you will also flip it in and then mark the opposite side to account for the thickness of the flush piece.
You want to make sure to always dry test it before you actually add the construction adhesive in case you have to make another cut. So with both sides cut, we're going to go ahead and place it, see if it lines up. And as you can see here, the connection is seamless, and then you're ready to go ahead and apply it to the wall.
Always ensure that the surface on which the veneer is being installed is nice and smooth and clear of any debris. As you can see here, the column had some leftover concrete, so we removed it with a hammer and then went ahead and installed the connecting piece.
One of the biggest tips that we did want to give was you want to make sure that when you're going up a column or up a wall and you're getting to the corners, to install them interlock, meaning in this front portion, as you can see, this piece that's here is the one that's rounded into the one that's going that way. So now when we install our second level, we're gonna put the corner one coming this way and then make this cut here. That way when you have the corners, you don't have this line that you see here all in one side. It's kind of just staggered, and it'll give it that brick look that is what you really want.
Once again, the corners need to be installed interlocking to ensure that natural stone finish. Once the first few rows are installed, the rest of the installation is fairly simple since the steps are pretty much the same. What we enjoyed the most about this veneer is that you can install it both indoors and outdoors in just a few hours and completely renovate your space. And we did want to mention that if you've learned anything throughout this video, please consider subscribing and hitting the thumbs up button below. It truly means a lot for our channel and allows us to continue making videos like these for you guys. For the last rows of this installation, we not only had to cut the pieces vertically but also horizontally to make sure that they were nice and flush with the existing concrete post. We installed them the same way we installed the rest of the veneer, but added a little bit of extra glue to ensure that it would properly hold. The client also wanted us to install some concrete caps on top of these posts so that they could make a nice contrast with the recently installed veneer. To make these caps, we used 16 by 16 pavers that they sell in Home Depot and marked where the cuts needed to be in order to wrap around the existing 6x6 wooden post. To mark the cut, we centered the pergola post with the paver and then used our long level to mark the parallel straight lines. We then placed the paver on the perpendicular face of the wooden post to mark the remaining 2 lines of the square. We then marked the center of the paver using our square and cut the paver in half so that it may wrap around the post. To make the cut itself, we used our angle grinder with a masonry blade and cut just outside the line to ensure that the paver would fit snug enough onto the post. Since the paver was thicker than the angle grinder's cut radius, we cut one side of the paver, flipped it over, and then cut the other side. Once the paver was cut in half, we cut the 2 half squares recently marked and then dry tested it onto the column. Once all 4 of the concrete caps were cut out, we went ahead and installed them using construction adhesive again. We added a lot of construction adhesive to ensure that these pavers would go ahead and stick to the existing column, and checked for leveling along the way. If by any chance the pavers were not leveled, we would remove them, add more construction adhesive, and repeated the process until everything was nice and straight. Home Depot does sell these pre-cut, but they run for about $100 a piece, so we advised the clients to just purchase a 16 by 16 pavers and that we would do it for them and save them some money. Once all the concrete caps were installed and were leveled, we came back with a small razor blade and cleaned up all of the connections that had any excess construction adhesive from the veneer installation. This will assure a cleaner and more seamless finish. We often get many questions on whether my wife and I have any prior construction experience, and honestly the answer is no. Before we began doing DIY projects in our home and building furniture, we had very little experience using any hand tools or building materials. We both came from office setting backgrounds, but just fell in love with the process of building and transforming something with our own hands. To top this whole project off, we built the clients these small pots where they could install a few plants to bring the whole area together. We absolutely loved how the finished transformation came out, and most importantly, so did the clients. Let us know in the comment section below what you guys think and whether you would do this in your home. Thank you for the support, and we'll see you next time. Bye.